have a haul today that I want to share that is only a couple volumes of manga, but in addition to individual pre-orders that I've gotten, and I've gotten them kind of spread out, so as I got them, I just ripped them open and have been keeping track of which ones I haven't shared in a haul video yet. But in addition to those couple of pre-orders that I've gotten the past several weeks, I've also gotten some other exciting things that I wanted to share. So one of those things is a fan book. And then I've also gotten 3 different gift packages from friends that have manga anime related merch. And so I wanted to share those, as well as 2 print orders that I've received from artists that I follow on Instagram. So I'm going to go through all of this stuff, and I will have timestamps below, so feel free to jump around, or if there's anything that you're not interested in, you can just skip to the next thing. So I'll start off with these pre-orders that I've gotten the last couple weeks. So first I have In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, Volume 3. I have already read this one because I was just excited to get it and just read it the day that I got it. This is a shoujo romance series set in high school that follows these 2. It's very cute. I really like this mangaka Mikuyama Mori, and I am collecting her 2 other series that are in English, Daytime Shooting Star and Tsubakicho Lonely Planet. So I just really love her art style, and then this story is just really cute following these 2 who are just very different and seeing how their relationship kind of blossoms, and excited to see where it goes from here. I have read some of this digitally, so I think I have read a little bit into Volume 4, but this is still ongoing, and I think the Japanese volumes are only into Volume 6, maybe 7, so I'm excited to get to the new content that I haven't read yet and to see where their romance takes us. I also got A Condition Called Love, Volume 2. This is another one that I have read digitally. It also is ongoing, but I believe it is out through Volume 11, maybe 12, and I have read through Volume 10, so I love this story. I love both of these kids. This one too is a shoujo romance set in high school. And just like In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, it's a story that for the female lead, it's their first experience with romance, and for the male leads, they have a little more experience. But this one is really fun. Some of the characters seem a little odd as you first meet them, but then as the story goes, they do go into their backstories and kind of show the experiences that they've had that have influenced their personalities, and kind of explain the reasons why some of them act kind of possessive sometimes, or just have really intense personalities. So really enjoying rereading these as I'm getting the physical volumes, and looking forward to Volume 3 so I can continue with that one. I also got Love of Kill, Volume 11. I love this series. It's a josei action series with some romance, some drama. The series is complete at 13 volumes, so only 2 more to go after this one. I have read this one already as well. For my pre-ordered new releases, I do tend to read them right away when I get them, just because of the excitement of getting them, especially if it's one I haven't read, like these ones I had read digitally, but this was a brand new volume, so I just read it right when I got it. But in the most recent volumes, it's been kind of going in a different direction, in a different arc, and while we're seeing new things happening, it is going and showing some of the backstories of the characters even deeper than what we've seen so far. So it's even kind of clarifying things that happened or things that we learned about in the first couple volumes, like Volume 2 and 3 content. So really enjoyed this. As usual, I really like this series. I definitely would recommend it if you think a series about assassins would be interesting to you and not too much. As you can see, there is some violence in this series. So these are the pre-ordered volumes that I've gotten over the past several weeks. I would love to just save them as I get them in their little single packages and have a fun video where I'm just ripping them all open, but I just don't have the patience or the self-control to not open them immediately, so happy to have those ones. And then the next one is a fan book. So this is for the anime series Free, and it's a fan book for the final 2 movies concluding the series, The Final Stroke Parts 1 and 2. So this was for sale in Japan from Kyoto Animation. So it was for sale in the KyoAni shop, which I believe doesn't ship to the US. So I did order this through CD Japan using their proxy service. And it was a pretty easy process. I did pre-order it, so I was a little nervous because I was waiting several months for it to arrive and then to be forwarded to me. And then I did have to pay extra fees because of using a proxy service, but it was all worth it to be able to get it. And the fact that CD Japan is amazing when it comes to packaging and shipping. I have made several orders from them and they always just do such a good job with their protective packaging. So when I got it, it was nice and tight inside the box, had bubble wrap around it. It was nice and snug, so it wasn't shaking around, banging the corners. So I was really happy with that. But as for the actual fan book, so this is actually just a protective and decorative sleeve holding the actual book inside. And then, in addition to the fan book, there's also this little booklet. It says memories. And it has a few little photo cards, which I love. So some of the different groups of boys at different points. So when they were in elementary school, and then in middle school, and then in high school, and in university. So just really sweet moments. There are some group photos that are shown in the anime that I wish had been in here as well, or instead of some of these ones, but I guess in the KyoAni shop, they're also selling electric frames that play music that come with packs of 10 different photo cards for certain sections of the series. So I am tempted to get the one that has content from Take Your Marks because it has group photos and then photos of just some of the pairs of boys as they're getting ready to go to college. And it's just, that's my favorite section of the story. But because the frame has electronics, it's kind of expensive, even though it's just a frame and 10 photo cards. So I'm still contemplating it, but this was really cute because I didn't know that these would come with the fan book. So this was a nice little surprise. Well, I actually knew before I opened mine because I watched a friend unbox hers the day before I got mine, but it was a surprise to see it when she hauled it. So then I was happy to have it when I opened it, when I got it. But so the fan book, I was surprised how big it was. I probably shouldn't have been so surprised because it's the same size as the free illustration books that I have and the Dive to the Future guidebook, but it's really nice. It doesn't have a dust jacket, but the cover does have, I forget what these are called, French flaps or something, where it's the cover and then it's folded. And then the binding just like really squared. And then Haru and his reflection from his youth. But I won't do a full flip through, but I'll just flip through a little bit to kind of share. I love, though, that there are, in the front and in the back of the book, there are 2 fold-out sections. So this section in the front has just some of the different characters and kind of their relations to each other, which I love stuff like this. Sosuke, he's my favorite. And then in the back, so there's cherry blossom tree, and then a 2-page spread, but then technically a 4-page spread of all of the boys. Sorry. All the boys. Sorry, just really struggled through that, getting it on camera. But I'm not going to flip through every page. I'll just do a little quickie flip through, and then I might record a flip through, a full flip through video that I'll put in my art book flip through playlist on my YouTube channel. But so basically, character profiles. And again, this is content for the final stroke, parts 1 and 2. So the very final section of the story when the boys are in college and working hard to compete on the next level. But there's a lot of text. There are staff interviews. It looked like there were interviews from voice actors. I love some of this in the back. Kaede, he's so cute when he was little. I love this page that just has kind of the sketches or just drawings of all the boys. But yeah. But I was excited to get this because I think this is the first fan book that they've done. Actually, they might have done a fan book with season 1, but for what I have 3 art books, the 2 illustration works and then a design works that has more sketches. And then I also have the season 3 guidebook and then a few different magazines that have covers related to Free as well as articles about the final stroke parts 1 and 2. So I'm a big fan of this series and I'm really happy to have this. And because it's anime and it doesn't have a manga series, getting little extra things like the illustration books and the guidebook and the fan book, this is how I have it in my collection. Okay, next I have a few gifts that were sent to me from friends that I'm really excited to share. So first from my friend Cadence. Otakoi Loves Hardcore Otaku, Volume 6. The book's a million. Variant cover. I was so happy that she remembered that I have been looking out for this variant cover. When Volume 6 was coming out, I actually did pre-order all the variant covers, and then I thought, I don't need them all. I'll just get my favorite one, which was the Barnes & Noble variant cover. And then as soon as they released, and both the Kinokuniya and Books A Million variant cover volumes sold out, they started being sold secondhand in the triple digits, and I really regretted that I hadn't gotten them, and I just thought, I'm never going to be able to get them. But last year, I was able to get a hold of the Kinokuniya variant cover, and I actually have made a few offers on some of the secondhand listings of the Books A Million variant cover, and unfortunately, the sellers were just being extremely greedy, and even though I did make offers well over retail price, they wanted more than I was willing to spend. So I had just been watching the listings and just hoping that they would drop in price and eventually maybe be able to get a copy, but I was so shocked when not only Cadence told me that she had found a copy, but that she had gotten it for me. So thank you so much, Cadence. Ugh. So Wotakoi is my #1 favorite manga series. I absolutely love it. I love Narumi. I love Hirotaka. And I'm so happy now that I have the 3 variant covers for the final volume, as well as the regular cover I have with my Japanese edition. But so happy to have this. It's so special. I'm so glad that she found it for me. It was such a surprise, but then also I just feel like it was so thoughtful and considerate of her. And then in the package, she also sent this little pin from last year's Anime Expo. So this was the Kinokuniya variant cover, but it has the volume 11 on it, so for the Japanese cover. So this is super cute. And then she also gifted this Gojo acrylic standee. He's so cute. So I just recently got into JJK in February and March. I watched all of the anime, and then I read from where season 2 of the anime leaves off through the most recently released chapters on the Shonen Jump app. And Gojo is my favorite character. I love this chibi Gojo. And this is actually my first acrylic standee. I've been actively avoiding getting acrylic standees because I know they can be expensive and they're really cute. And so I know that as soon as I start collecting these, that I'm just going to spend so much money and I'm going to run out of shelf space and have trouble having self-control. So I've got my first one now and I'm still just trying to have self-control and not get more, but we'll see how I do. But I'm really happy to have him because he is adorable. And then one more thing that Cadence included was a drawing that she did of my #1 favorite character, Rangha from Love of Kill. And she has her signature here, her autograph. So I did already find a little place on my Love of Kill shelf for this, and it's really special that a friend drew this for me. So thank you so much. I love all this stuff you sent me. The next gifts that I got were from my friend Nessa on Instagram. She recently went to an anime convention where there were panels with voice actors being interviewed and doing signings as well. And by chance, she didn't know that this voice actor did a character that I love, and she found out and got a signed print for me of Rangha and his voice actor to KK-chan. So I love Love of Kill. and I love Rangha. But surprisingly, I have not watched the whole English dub of Love of Kill because my first watch through was of the anime in Japanese with subtitles, and I really loved the Japanese voice cast, so I just kept watching it in Japanese over and over. But even though I have not yet watched the whole thing, I've just watched little snippets in English, but I just can't believe that she was there going to get an autograph from this voice actor and realized that he did his voice, and she thought of me. And thank you so much, Nessa. This was so thoughtful that you remembered me and wanted to get this for me. So thank you so much. And actually, a couple months ago, Nessa also sent me a little care package that I meant to share in a earlier video, but I just completely forgot to pull it off of the shelves because it was in a different section of my house. But she got a couple things for me that are just so precious and I love them. So she got me these 3 Attack on Titan plushies. So they're just adorable little pillows of my favorite trio in Attack on Titan. So we have Chibi Eren, and then Chibi Armin. They're so cute. And Mikasa. Sorry, my camera is really low to the ground, so I'm like trying to angle these so that you can see them, but she was messaging me about these being sold at a local store that she found, and they were selling these 3 as well as Levi. And she did pick some up for herself, and she got these ones for me as well. And I'm so happy with them. I've actually had them for a while, and I had them with me cuddling when I watched the new Attack on Titan episode that just came out. But these are really special to me because, for one, Nessa and I buddy read the entire series in January and February together. And then also because these are their final season outfits. And I do have their Nendoroids, but I decided to only get their younger version Nendoroids, not their Nendoroids for the final season. So this way I'm able to have that version of their Nendoroids as well as them in chibi form with, like, look at their uniforms, and Moody Eren. His little bun and his little outfit. So I just love these. They're super adorable. And again, just thank you so much, Nessa, for thinking of me and this thoughtful gift of these adorable little babies. And then I also got a gift from my friend Kat on Instagram, and it was such a surprise. She told me she was sending something and I had no idea what it could be, and it's this Windbreaker photo book that she made. So Windbreaker is a manhwa webtoon series that is over 400 chapters. And in March, I binge read the whole series and it just sucked me in and I loved it. I loved the characters. And then Kat started reading it right behind me and binge read the whole thing. And we both just had the same character that we just absolutely adored. And she wanted to make this photo book because right now about only 2/3 of the series has a physical print in Korean. So it's not printed in English. And while I am planning to get at least 1 or 2 volumes in Korean, just to have it in my collection, official volumes, and for the covers, I was kind of bummed that the content in the series that I liked didn't have the covers that I liked, and vice versa, the covers that I liked didn't cover the content that I was wanting to have. I was actually super annoyed with some of the covers because some of the covers feature the antagonists that I just hate, or just characters that don't really matter that much, whereas the main crew don't even have a cover together. So in the meantime, until I'm able to put in an order for a Korean volume or two, I'll have this in my collection to hold a place for Windbreaker and to enjoy a physical copy of some of the illustrations. So our favorite character is Vinny, and we formed a protection squad for him because he's a sweet little baby and he is just going through a lot. Like the whole series just, I feel like the creator might not like him because they're just putting him through all kinds of terrible things, and a lot of the fans have just turned their back on Vinny and are trashing him in the comments, so we're uniting to protect Vinny. But so this book is just featuring some of the panels of the characters we like, but I just was so surprised that she thought to do this, and it was such a fun idea. But I do really love this series. It's all about cycling. And if it does get licensed in English for a print release, because it is on Webtoon, but if it gets a print release in English, I probably will want to buy the whole series, depending on how it ends, because if it ends a certain way, I'll be devastated. So I was so surprised when I got this in the mail, and I was so happy. Thank you so much, Kat, for thinking of this fun thing so that we could have all of our favorites. But I am planning to get the volume 22 cover, and then I'm considering if I'd want to get another one or just that one, because I've never made an order from Korea before. I do have some friends who have made orders from Korea before, and so they have confidence in recommending certain sites to order from, but every time I order from somewhere new, I do get kind of nervous, so. And I have looked and found the volumes, and a site that I was planning to order from, the volumes are like $30 each in Korean, so it definitely is going to be an expense, but I want to get it, but I might wait until I have something else to order along with it so that I'm not just making a small order for one item and having to pay international shipping for that just one item. So happy to have this one. And then lastly, I have 3 print orders that I've gotten over the past month and a half or so. So the first one, I'm actually not going to show the prints because they're a little racy. They're racier than the content I usually feature on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see them, make sure you're following me on Instagram, because I have made a few posts and reels about these racy prints that I got. So I actually had found the illustrations last year, and I wanted to buy them so badly, but the person selling them seemed kind of sketchy, and I was a little worried if it was a legitimate seller. And then my friend looked into it, and she also thought that they might be a scammer, so I was really disappointed. But then a few months ago, I found this seller. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, Nijigen Studio. So I found this seller on Instagram, and they had their Instagram linked to an Etsy account as well as a Shopify account that had history and reviews from customers. So I was willing to take the risk to order from them, hoping that it would be legitimate and it wouldn't be a scam. And fortunately, my order came, and I was really happy with how it was packaged. Even though it was just prints, they sent them in a box so that they would be protected. And then each of the packs that I got, they packaged separately. They used bubble wrap, and they also gave a bunch of little extras. So I'll put up some images of just how the prints arrived. And then again, if you want to see the prints, make sure to check them out on Instagram. But it was a couple different sets of Jujutsu Kaisen prints that are a little racy, so happy to have them. And then another artist that I follow on Instagram, I recently made an order from them as well. So the artist is Lightning Strikes Art. So from this artist, I did order their 2 fanzines, Tiger Cub, a Jujutsu Kaisen alternate universe fanzine by Lightning Strikes. But they have 2 volumes out. I'm hoping that they'll release a 3rd one because on their Instagram, they do have some little comics posted that aren't contained in these 2 volumes. But these are just so adorable. Like, just the cover and the back cover of this one. But each of the fanzines just have little adorable illustrations and really cute comics. Most of the little stories are only 2 to 3 pages. But just very cute, very wholesome and sweet. Content of the characters from Jujutsu Kaisen, but in a very safe and wholesome environment. Along with these 2 fanzines, I didn't order the versions that came with acrylic charms, but both of them came with little prints, so a little square one and then a rectangle one. I think this one is like 4x6 and this one is a square one. But of our little trio as little sweet animals. So these were super cute. They did have some other JJK prints available, as well as keychains and other little items, I think stickers as well. But then the one other item I ordered from them was this print of Nanami holding Yuji as a cat. It's so adorable. So Gojo is my favorite character in Jujutsu Kaisen, and then Nanami is my next favorite character. So I was really excited to get this one. Unfortunately, this was sent securely with bubble wrap and a little mailer, but this print had cardboard on the back of it to protect it. But then it had the books just placed on top of it, so I don't know if you can see, but it has like creases where the books kind of pushed into it. I really wish that they had had cardboard on the front side of it or on both sides of it. And they're kind of noticeable just because it has a glossy finish, so you can see the creases. But fortunately, they're not across his face, so I can still just enjoy looking at it. And then the last thing in this haul is the final print order that I received recently. So I made an order from a Canadian artist, Sugarmints, and I absolutely love the prints that I got. I'm really, really happy that they arrived safely and weren't damaged. And the reason I mention that is because they were sent in a soft mailer, and even though they had put a sticker on it that says, "Do not bend," at the post office, they literally folded it in half, folded the top corner in, and jammed it into my post office box. So when I saw it, I was convinced that some of the prints would be ruined, but fortunately, because I had ordered several prints and they put an additional little cardboard, it was just tucked in the corner of the envelope. And then there was a ton of open space around it, and that's where the envelope was folded. But I was a little disappointed that they were even sent in a soft mailer. It's probably just me being picky, but I kind of feel like prints should always be sent in a firm mailer to give them that protection. But fortunately, they were safe because they were just tucked in the corner. But I absolutely love these prints that I got. So I got these 6 prints. As you can see from the coloring, I absolutely love this color palette of deep blues and purples and just kind of atmospheric, just very aesthetic designs. But I got 3 prints that were fan art prints of scenes from Studio Ghibli movies. 1 print that is from an anime, and then 2 that were original illustrations by the artist that were just gorgeous, but then also reminded me of scenes in manga series that I like, so I got those ones as well. Okay, so the first one that I got is this fan art print from Spirited Away. I do already have one Spirited Away fan art illustration from another artist that is of Chihiro and Haku. But when I saw this one, I really wanted to get it because it's the scene of Sen and No Face when they're waiting for the train, and I just felt like this is such an iconic scene, and I liked the color palette and just wanted to have this illustration from my favorite Ghibli film. So I'm really happy to have this one. And then my second favorite Ghibli film is Whisper of the Heart. And I absolutely love this one, the way that the sky is done, but then just capturing this moment of Seiji walking her home, pushing his bike, just so sweet. But then not only capturing this moment from this movie that I like, but then also just being a gorgeous illustration. And then another favorite Ghibli film is Howl's Moving Castle. And so, just like this one, I love the color palette. I love the way that the sky looks. And we have Howl and Calcifer. And I don't have any fan art or anything for Howl's Moving Castle, so I wanted to have this one as well. So now I have 3 of my favorite Ghibli films represented with these gorgeous illustrations. The next one is For Your Lie in April. And this one too, just, I love the way that they draw the sky, the clouds, the color palette. And then the series is really special because it's the first anime that my husband and I ever watched, other than Studio Ghibli movies. So even though I don't have anything in my manga collection for this series, I don't own the manga, now I have this piece in my collection. And then the last 2 are original illustrations by the artist. So again, another gorgeous nighttime sky with a passenger train. And then a beachside town, the Ferris wheel, and another just gorgeous skyscape. So I definitely wanted to have these 2 just because I just love the illustrations, but then because there are some scenes in manga that remind me of evening train travel and being on a Ferris wheel at night, I definitely wanted to get these so I could have them on my display with some of those series. And then also, another reason I really liked this one is because it reminds me of a city that I lived in that really did have a beach like this, and a city, and then a Ferris wheel on the water, and then way over here was a train station. So from the train station looking at the city, it looked just like this. So I thought that was kind of special, but then it was just absolutely beautiful as well. So I'm really happy that all of these arrived safely. There's such gorgeous illustrations, so I just would have been devastated if I pulled them out of the envelope and they were damaged. So in the past month and a half, I've gotten these new prints, these pre-orders and Fanbook. Thank you so much to my dear friends who have sent me these little goodies and little care packages. I really, really appreciate your thoughtfulness and generosity. But thank you if you stuck around to the end of this video. I feel like this is going to be another long one, but I definitely wanted to share all of this on my channel. But hope you enjoyed seeing everything, and I'll see you again soon in another video. Thanks for watching.